Hello everybody, welcome to Online World Religions or Philosophy 15 for the summer term. And this is a 6-week course, and I've pulled up the course for you on Moodle. And you'll see here that it's broken up into week 1, 2, and 3. And those 3 weeks constitute the midterm, and the midterm exam is ready for you right here. And then weeks 4, 5, and 6. And the final exam is not yet posted, but it will be right after the midterm. For the first 3 weeks of the term, it's really focusing on Eastern religions, and for the last 3 weeks it's focusing on Western religions, so it's broken up in that sense. At the very beginning, before week 1, it's the course information, and here you'll find the syllabus, a form for you to introduce yourself to classmates and to myself, and also a form for you that's called our general classroom or our help forum or our participation forum. It has a variety of names, and simply what this form is for you to post any questions you have about the class, any philosophical or religious questions you have, anything you would like to share with the class in terms of a video you found, an article you'd like to share, a current event on the topic of religions, or some world event that relates to the topic of religion. You can share here research ideas, set up field trips or group projects. You can ask me a question or anything related to a general question about religion and the course. So here you'll see the different ideas that you could talk about in this forum. And this is our general classroom for you to post. And this here is your introduction to yourself forum, and it's a form that you'd post in the first week of the term, ideally in the first 3 days. And after the first week, this forum really goes kind of dead in the water because it's for us to learn about each other, introduce ourselves, and then we focus on the actual coursework thereafter. But in terms of learning about ourselves, here is an introduction to me, and it tells you how to contact me, my educational background, which is from UC Santa Barbara and World Religions, my teaching background, my main hobby, something unusual about me. Okay, and there's a picture of me and my son when we're in Hawaii. And then when you introduce yourselves, you just simply click on Add a New Discussion, and you write a response about yourself. And here, first you put your name in the subject field, and then you could tell us a little bit about yourself. And if you're taking this class from a foreign place, sometimes students are taking it from various locations in the world. If you're a student from another school like UCLA or UC San Diego, let me know that. That's kind of fun to know. Something unusual about yourself, and why do you want to take this class? Have you ever had an online class before? Anything else you'd like to add? So this will be an introduction to yourself, and once you do that, I'm asking other students to read them and to click reply and write a response back to you. So do so for at least 3 students in the class. So reply to at least 3, ideally more. And the introduction form there, the classroom form there, and then let's open the syllabus here. And so the syllabus will tell you when the class ends, which is Monday, June 22nd. It ends on July 31st. Here's some background about my office, although I'm not on campus in the summertime, so everything's done through the computer. It's all online, so there's no office hours. There's no campus time for you either, so this class is, again, completely online with no meeting or orientation. The orientation that you're listening to constitutes that. And then moving down here, okay, this is our syllabus. And our syllabus has the 10 links here to go through. And one thing, if you open up a link and it goes, the material goes off the screen and you can't read it, I was finally informed, I didn't know how to do this for a long time, but to do Control- and it shrinks everything on the screen so that it's very legible and readable for you. So make sure you note that that little command will save you. Sometimes when you open up one of my links, the material goes all too far to the right. So again, professor's information, I've already shown you that. Course description and outline, this is right out of Mount SAC's catalog describing the course. We'll be examining religions appreciatively and critically, and so appreciatively is the believer's perspective and critically is a scholarly perspective, and very often there's a big difference between those two, so we have to be aware of that. Again, the scholar's not here to criticize, but just to historically analyze, and sometimes it may very much vary from a believer's viewpoint. And then the course objective, and this is the measurable objectives for the course. All of this comes right out of Mount SAC's curriculum for the course. And then the course outline is how I set the class up as a professor in this field. I have a certain style that I use, and so I set it up into the midterm and the final in Eastern and Western. And the very beginning week, the first week, is an introduction to religious studies. So it's learning what is the definition of religion and how do scholars study it and why do we study it and how do religions start. How does religion grow and prosper? So that's all studied the first week. The second week is when we jump into the Eastern religions. And the main Eastern religion, the third largest in the religion in the world, and the foundation for a lot of the other Eastern religions is Hinduism. Hinduism is a quite complicated religion. It's going to take more effort to understand Hinduism than any of these traditions that we'll be looking at this semester. It's a 5,000-year-old, very complicated religious traditions, and so there's not one founder, there's not one belief, and so it's going to take a little bit more effort from a Western viewpoint to understand that. So we start with Hinduism, and then a lot of the terms and ideas carry over into Jainism, Buddhism, and Sikhism. So once you build that foundation, these religions start to make sense. Okay, so it's Jainism, Buddhism, and Sikhism. And then we move to, after the midterm, into the final material. The final is not cumulative. It focuses on the Western, and it's Islam and Sufism, a mystical form of it, Judaism, a biblical scholarship, and Christianity, biblical scholarship. So those are the topics we'll be covering. The readings for the course, most of the readings, okay, all of the films are online, and most of the readings are online as well, although there's a few materials that I offer in hard copy form, and here it is. The first week, the first book is How to Study the Sacred, and the second material, I call it a book, it's really a long article, is The Rise of New Religions, okay? This one is an optional read, it's The Enchanted Land, and this one's a required reading again. It's called The Sikhs. So these smaller monographs or larger articles, whatever you want to call them, are available to you for nonprofit, very inexpensive on Amazon altogether. I think it's $7.14. It's about $20. So to buy that material, and so that would be something that I encourage you to do, to have a hard copy so you can underline and study it and so forth. It's material that I wrote on my sabbatical. Again, it's nonprofit, so you're just paying for the cost of the print. Or if you wanted those material for free, I give you the PDF versions here. So I just want you to know that I'm trying to save you guys money as much as I can, so that's available. And through Amazon, if you don't have Amazon Prime, as a student, you can sign up for free for 6 months. You just click there and sign up with your Mount SAC email. So that's the readings. Course policy. There's 4 major grades. There's a midterm, final, research project. All world religions courses require you to go out and explore world religions in the field itself. And in my class, I require it to an Eastern religious center, assuming you have no Eastern background. So if you're Hindu, you would not explore Hinduism. If you're Buddhist, you would not explore Buddhism, etc. And then the posts that you'll be putting up on Moodle, and that's constitutes 30%. So altogether, that's 100% of your grade. And again, the course is broken up into midterm and final. And then what constitutes an A, and this all got out of whack. Shoot, I have to fix that. It looked fine when I looked at it earlier. So posts on Moodle, 200 points, the midterm 300, etc. You walk you through the 1,000-point grading scale. Okay. And then how do you know how you'll be doing in this class? Before the drop date, and I believe the drop date is around July 16th, and your midterm is due July 12th. So I will know your course grade, at least 45% of it, or not your entire course grade, but a big chunk of it before the drop date. So you have a good understanding of how you're doing and can make a decision to stay or not stay in the class. But if you're nervous and really wanting to know how you're doing even before the midterm is due, even before 3 weeks is up, you can send me a link to your work. It's called a website, and there I can evaluate it and give you a thumbs up or down. But the official grading does occur at midterm time. Okay, late work. Yes, if your post work is late, definitely still put it up on Moodle. It will lose some points, but it's better than getting a 0. But your exam work should be on time. Makeups, there's no need for makeups in this class because the exam is already posted and it's ready to go. And it's not an exam where you have to come to campus and take it, so there's no need for makeups. Attendance and absences, it means that in an online class, how do you take attendance? Well, when I pull up the list of students in the class, the participants, it will tell me what your last activity was, when you were last on, and sometimes it says next to a student's name, oh, they haven't been on in 10 days, or they haven't been on, and I mean, sometimes I see like very long gaps of time, and so that would represent an absence if they've disappeared for more than 3 days, and I do check that regularly, so make sure you're on. If you're offline in this class for a couple days, that's not a problem, but if you go more than 3 days, that's when the problem begins. Okay, so it's not 3 days, but more than 3 days. Okay, this course uses Moodle instead of Blackboard. Google Chrome is recommended to use it. And class structure, it's set up as lesson plans, and there are 12 lesson plans this summer. I usually, in the past, have required 16 lesson plans. Last semester, I think I reduced it to 12, but of all the semesters, this is the semester to take me because I only have, last semester I reduced it to 14. This semester I reduced it to 12. And why I did that is in the summer session, it's really hard to cover everything. So some of those extra lesson plans that I used to require are now a little bit more in the extra credit area for you. I still want you to consider them, but you don't have to if you run out of time. Okay, each lesson plan is a topic. For instance, Hinduism is a lesson plan, Buddhism is a lesson plan. And when you open up that lesson plan, you'll see these bullets here. You'll see the professor's lecture and notes. Now, I actually have an audio lecture for every religion, and they're very short. They're like 3 to 5 minutes at the most. I think one is like 7 minutes. And so you click on this a YouTube audio lecture to listen to on that religion, and it constitutes a mini version of what I would lecture on campus. And then I also gave you my lecture notes for it. Okay, then there's a required reading, which is mostly online unless you wanted those few hard copies. The films are all online, and the films, it's very, very wise of you to take notes as you watch the films instead of having to re-watch the film and answering a question on it. So definitely take notes so it's a one-watch situation. You don't have to re-watch it. The post for the course, there's 3 types of posts. This gets a little confusing. And in the syllabus, there's something called a post link, which will explain it a lot more in depth, but just to know that there's what's called essay posts, interactive posts, and participation posts. Real quick, an essay post is a question about the lesson plan, and those essay posts are worth more. Those essay posts should have a little bit more thought. They're very reflective. It's usually your position on something, having studied the topic, read, and watched the films, and now what do you think about? Or can you apply Buddhism to your life? Or can you, if you were Hindu, which understanding of which Indian teacher would you follow, having done the reading and watched the films on it. So it's really an application to you to a large extent. And those essay posts are very valuable. And there's one per lesson plan. So for the semester, there's going to be 12 of those. Interactive posts is where you read other students' essay posts and you click reply. And it's very simple. You write half a page back to them, where it shows you that you've taken their post seriously. You've looked at it, and you have something to add to it, or something to challenge, or something to appreciate, anything you want to respond to your classmate. And it just means that when you're writing your post, it's not just being ignored. I'm looking at it and classmates are looking at it. And so the interactive post, you have to do, I usually require 2 to 3 a week, but in this class I'm reducing some of the workload to make it an easier term for you. So I'm only requiring 1 a week. And so more is encouraged, 1 is the absolute minimum. And the participation post is when you go into that forum at the very beginning, before week 1, there's that classroom help participation forum, and there you post at least a minimum of once a week, a current event, an article you'd like to share, a video you'd like to share, a research project, something along that line, okay, or a philosophical question on religion. And then the exam question. The exam question is in the lesson plan. It is your midterm question or your final exam question. It's ready to go. You don't post those exam answers. You simply put them on what's called your website. Again, I'll explain that in a minute. And that exam question, and by the fact that it's in the lesson plan, means you already have your midterm question on it. So as you're preparing for the lesson plan, you could be answering that exam question and getting it ready to go. Communicating with the professor, there's 3 times you are required to email me. You can email me more than that, of course, but 3 required. And 1 is the first week, 2 a little bit into the second week if you forget about it the first week, but don't go much farther than that. And it's information email. And in the information email, you tell me your name, the course you have, or you're taking with me. I have 3 online classes, so I want to distinguish which one you're in, and then your website address. And again, that will be in 1 minute from now. I'll explain that. And the second time is you email me midterm week, and you email me, it's on by July 12th, and then finals week, you'll email me by July 31st. Heading and drop simply says that your responsibility to pay attention to that, and if you're behind and you need to drop, make sure you do so. Extra credit, there's lots of opportunities in this class. It can help boost your grade, but it won't change a D into an A, but it definitely can play its role. Okay, and then assignments and research. There's the midterm, the final, the field trip or research project, and your posts. And so it tells you 3 things to note about the research. I'm going to focus on this here, is that if you are a part of a religion, you cannot study for your research project anything that falls into the umbrella. So in other words, let's say you're going to study an Eastern religion and you're a branch of Hinduism, but you want to study another branch of Hinduism, and the answer would be no. Study something very much outside your family's religion or your umbrella religion, or something you're exposed to already. So you could study Sikhism, Buddhism, etc., Jainism. And you cannot visit a religious center that you've been to before. So some students say, well, I've been to the Buddhist temple 3 years ago. Can I write about that? No, it has to be current. It has to be something during this term, and it has to be with a picture of you at the location. That's required. And you're asked to also to attend a religious event at the location, not just to pop in and pop out, but attend a service or a chant or a meditation or a lecture or a yoga class or anything. The local Buddhist temple to Mount Sac It's interesting, in the afternoon on Sundays they offer yoga classes, so that would be something you may be interested in, or attending one of the Dharma lectures, or attending the chant session at 10:30 in the morning. And there's a restaurant there and a museum and so forth. Okay, here's a link to learn about the research project. Here's the directions and here's the locations. And I think I also tell you how to dress, the dress code. Okay, so there you go. And you definitely need to investigate that. And then again, you've got the exams, the research, and the post there, which I walked you through already. And then the post work here, this explains a lot more in depth what the essay post, the interactive, and the participation. So I'll just scroll down to show you the 12 required. Okay, and how long they should be, and all that stuff is there. The 6 minimum weekly interactive posts, and what those are all about, and to at least one a term. I'm sorry, not a term, you would love that, but I'm sorry, one a week. And then 6 minimum participation posts for the term, and that's a minimum of 1 a week. Okay, and then at midterm time and final time, when you send me all your work with your exam and your posts, how do you find all your posts on Moodle without having to hunt through them? And I walk you through these 4 simple steps of how to find your posts on Moodle in one simple command, but really 4 little steps. Okay, and so website creation, why you create one and how to create one. Well, why you create one is I have 100 students this semester, the summer term, and to have students constantly send me the work or me always hunting through Moodle, what I really want is a nice, neat, organized package of your work. And I call it a portfolio, and the fancy internet word is a website. And it really literally takes you a couple minutes to even a couple seconds to create. And once you've created it, you place all of your coursework there. So your exam goes there for sure. It does not go on Moodle. Your posts then eventually get copied into it as well. And any work that you do for the course, your research project and so forth, goes onto that website. You send me the link at midterm time and finals time, and also the first week of the term so I can make sure it opens. How to create it. My husband created a film here. It's just a tutorial how to create a website. It's very simple. He created one in 9 seconds. My fastest speed was 30 seconds, but students usually tell me it takes them 2 minutes to create. Okay, free website providers. Google Sites is what I recommend. Some students like Wix because it makes beautiful sites, or here's some other options. This is a new one right here, sway.com. It's a brand new one a student informed me about a week ago, and his website turned out beautiful. So he recommended that one. It offers you a tutorial as well when you click on it. And then what to include on your website are these links, and then how to create your website. This is only directions how to create a Google site, but it's very simple, step by step. And you can either have all your materials scroll down on your website, or you can create separate links or pages. However you want to set it up, I'm happy with anything I get in that sense. Okay, and that gives you directions, so definitely read through that. Let's click out of that. And then expectations, this is simple, 8 expectations. Be online and, complete the reading and stay current and all that stuff, and take notes when you watch the films. And so this is 8 expectations and 8 hints to do well. So read through those. College policies is straight out of Mount Sack's catalog, and then this is a statement about plagiarism and how you plagiarize, you end up failing the class, so it's definitely a no-no. Frequently asked questions. These are 10 frequently asked questions I usually get in an online class, and it's my responses to them. Can you work ahead of schedule? Yes, but only work on the midterm work while we're studying the midterm material, not jump to the final and stuff like that. How do you receive the exams, and can I use another website provider than the one I offer? And certainly the answer is yes. Okay, so that constitutes the syllabus. So even though I walked you through these links, make sure you read them very thoroughly. And then the key dates for the summer. Okay, these are important dates to note. So the course begins on this Monday, June 22nd. The last day to add, the last day to get a refund, drop without a W, drop with a W, with a midterm and the final. And the final exam, again, is in July. It's not in August, so it ends the very last day of July. Okay, so this constitutes the syllabus in these important forms. Then you have to go to week 1, and we're going to look at that really quickly. You'll see for each week there is a forum, and that's for week 1 posts, and these are for your essay posts and your interactive work. And the lesson plans for the midterm. Okay, this explains that this is a 54-hour course for the 6 weeks, as it has to match for accreditation what it require you to be on campus. So you'd be required to be on campus 9 hours every week for the 6 weeks, and so I have to somehow have that course more or less match. There's 6 lesson plans to complete for the midterm, so there's 2 per week, which is definitely a reduction what I usually offer. Okay, So this walks you through what to do the first few days of the course, and then you start the beginning lesson plan. Ideally, you start this right away. I mean, ideally, you start this by like June 22nd, but you open up the lesson plan, and you'll see these points that I pointed out. The lecture, let me just show you real quick. So there's a required lecture and some notes, and that's a little joke that I just put up the other day. Required reading, okay, again, the PDF, and then there's the Amazon version, and the film watching, okay, and I have 2 films for you to watch. It's 1 and 2. That walks you through the directions there, and the post question. And you'll see that there's 2 bullets for the posts. And just to show you what an exam question looks like real quick, there's always 4 bullets for that, okay? And so that constitutes lesson plan 1. And the lesson plan 2 will follow the same procedure, as you see that. Okay, so that's introduction to the topic of world religions. And then to jump more into the topic of religion itself, we have Hinduism, Jainism, and moving here we have Buddhism and Sikhism. Now, let me explain this extra one. This is what I usually required as a lesson plan for my students, and for this term I'm offering it as an extra credit. And so you would, again, follow through just like you were taking it as a lesson plan to earn that extra credit on that. And again, the PDF free book is available if you're interested. And then Buddhism and Sikhism. And then Taoism is the Chinese religions, and we really run out of time, but I offer the lesson plan on it, and I do require that you listen to the mini lecture on it. It jumps right into it right there that I created on it. It's a 4-minute mini lecture.
Some argue that
It's jumping into it a little too quick. I didn't want to do that. Okay, here we go. So that would be required to listen to that to get some background, even if you don't do that extra credit there. And then after the midterm, we jump into the Western religions there. So this constitutes the lesson plans for weeks 1 through 3. And the midterm exam is there ready to go. And then I have not yet posted the final work, so we don't have to worry about that until the end of week 3. Okay, I think that is a nice introduction to you, hopefully, for understanding this course. And if you have any questions, what you do is you post them right here, and I'll respond within a couple hours, no longer than 24 hours. And you can always email me, but again, I encourage you to post them so that not only do I respond to you, but other students benefit from that response. Okay, thank you so much for listening, and I hope this is a wonderful term for you, and I appreciate your attention for the last 15 to 20 minutes. Thank you. Bye-bye. Namaste.